Hello everyone, it's almost Christmas and I get to show you a full foot shave here today. I did edit out all the parts that were not interesting where I was cleaning the blade or whatnot, but pretty much the whole shave I was able to fit here in one video, which is rare. And the reason for that is because I did this shave after soaking this foot. And I pretty much never show you guys that. It's a tricky process. It's very hard to get the skin just right after soaking, or in this case, taking a shower, where it's not too wet that it's just rubbery and impossible to shave, or too dry and therefore the blade is skipping around and struggling to cut through it. There is a sweet spot. It's about 20-25 minutes after a shower or bath as the skin is drying out, because you know it soaks water up like a sponge, so it takes a while to dry out. As it's drying out, it hits this spot right here where it is just so easy to shave. The skin just glides off. The blade does a great job without cutting too deep. I don't hurt myself, and everything goes very smoothly and very quickly, which is why I was able to edit the whole thing into one video for you today. Over here, I am getting ready for Christmas, and I'm just in a fabulous mood today because Christmas vacation has basically begun. My kids have been home from school this whole week, and they will, of course, be home next week. And my husband only has a couple more days at work this week, and then we're just all going to be able to be home together for the holidays. And I just, oh man, I needed this break. I have been going really hard for the last couple of months and been unable to stay focused or stick with anything for very long. I've been so scattered because I've had so much going on with the property, with my kids' lives, with my personal life, with my work. Also, I was doing choir and we had a bunch of performances leading up to Christmas, and now that's finally done. We just did our last one. And so it's just wonderful. I feel like the hibernation period has begun, and I'm really looking forward to it. I still have one part of the house to clean in depth. I did the whole rest of the house, and then it'll be like the house is done. I just need to wrap presents and buy food for Christmas dinner, and then it's just going to be at least a week, maybe a week and a half of just chilling. I'm going to do a puzzle. I'm going to do sewing projects. I'm going to spend time with my kids doing crafts and having fun. And it's going to be glorious and well needed. I hope that you're finding some sort of rest and peace and stepping away in your life with the holidays, with Christmas especially looming very close. I know a lot of us are really, really busy, but this is the time of year for solstice, for reflection, for hibernation, for turning inward and turning the volume down. And I, for one, cannot wait. I also am excited to do all the planning that I typically do for the year, the week of Christmas. Like once Christmas is done next week, I'll have the whole rest of the week to think about moving forward. I have a lot of projects I want to do for work, including a lot of big projects that I am going to do here for TikTok and YouTube. And I really look forward to actually moving forward on those and sharing that with you guys all, because it's going to be a great year. But also, this is the time of year I do the planning for my garden. I figure out exactly what's going to be planted where for the next year, purchase seeds if I'm going to do that. I have a lot of seeds right now, but you always need more. And also, I need to make a calendar. This is something I haven't done yet. I've sort of been flying by the seat of my pants in terms of planting and harvesting and also fertilizing, and especially in the case of the orchard, like pruning and spraying. There are so many things that need to be done in order for the timing to be just right so that you get the best crop. And I've sort of been winging it and a little bit more reactive. And this coming year, I really want to be more proactive. So I'm going to make a calendar for the whole year, not like on an actual grid calendar, but just make a page for January and write on that page everything that must be done for the garden and the orchard in January, and then for February and March and so forth. And I'm hoping that by giving myself this big, broad outline for the whole year, I'll be able to just kind of walk through each month steadily without being reactive, but instead being proactive. Like I have to spray copper in the spring to prevent leaf curl, and I have to prune these certain trees in February and these bushes in March, and I have to prune these other trees in April. And depending on when they bloom, I might need to go out and hand pollinate, like if we're having a windy rainstorm week and that's when the peaches decide to blossom, I'm gonna have to go out there and help them cross-pollinate each other so that we get peaches. And I'm excited to be a little bit more on top of my shit this year, because for the last few years, we've been installing gardens and orchards as we've been trying to maintain and like advance the ones that we currently have. And I feel like it's time to just take a step back. My husband and I were talking about what we might be installing this spring. And I sort of said, you know what? I think we should just take a step back. We should take a year off. We don't have to put in our second orchard this spring. We don't have to put in the vineyard this spring. I would love to get that leg up, because those things take 5-7 years to mature. And like, why wouldn't you want to start now so that that time can come sooner? But we have spent year after year after year now doing massive installations on the property every spring. And I think we just need to take a spring to like find a beautiful rhythm with what we're currently doing. And then we can take that next step. Like, is 1 year in the big picture of things that big a deal? No, it's not. And he kind of agreed with me. So I think we're on the same page there. And like, it would be lovely to wrap up the dozens of projects that we've done 95% around here. We have a tendency to like get it good enough and like we'll finish it later. You know, we'll do the finishing touches or clean up later. And I think that this would be a great year to just say, all right, let's finish every single one of these projects to 100%. Like the materials storage around the back of the garage and in the barn, it's 95%, but we could get it to 100% by organizing and cleaning up and doing a dump run for the last bits. Or the chicken coop is like basically all done, except we want to improve the fence. The garden is basically all done, except we want to change the irrigation in one spot and finish the fence because we didn't put wire along the top. And the orchard is basically all done, except that we need to like replant a couple of the trees that died, and we need to reinvigorate some of the bushes which were lackluster last summer, and plant a couple more. Like, there's so much we could do to just be like, to actually put that big check mark on and say finished for all these projects. So I think that's a wise use of our time. And otherwise, yeah, so I'm looking forward to planning, and I'm looking forward to doing puzzles. Is one of my favorite pastimes, and I basically only ever do them between Christmas and New Year's because I'm so busy. And I have a bunch of new ones, so I'm looking forward to doing those. And also doing that quilt that I told you guys about recently. I did a quilt for a friend of mine. It was an in loving memory quilt. His husband died a year and a little bit ago, and he's of course been mourning him and just in a lot of grief. And I volunteered to do a memory quilt for the like dozen or so shirts and jackets of his that my friend just could not bear to get rid of. Well, he couldn't bear to get rid of quite a lot, but there were a handful that were like his most valuable possessions, his husband's. And so he sent those to me last December, and I had agreed to make them into a quilt to remember him by, because my friend didn't feel like it would serve him much to just have all of those in a box to pull out and hug and kiss. He's got boxes of his other clothes and various items that like bring that memory alive. And so these ones were just visually really representative of his husband. Anyway, I finally did that quilt. It took me a long time, and I sent it off to him. It is a surprise. I do not believe he watches my videos, so I don't think I've spoiled the surprise, but it is done. And that was really inspiring for me. So I also think I might spend this coming year finishing up a lot of other quilts and sewing projects that I started, some of them in high school and never finished, and then maybe doing some new ones for my family, for my kids. I'm just in a wonderful mood, and I hope that you guys are too. I hope that you're finding a way to wind down and relax and find peace this time of year. Bye.